Hey everyone, I want to show you today how to set up your Microsoft Bookings calendar feature in Microsoft Outlook. This works in conjunction with your Outlook calendar through TUSD. So here we go. First thing that we're going to do is head on over to Bookings. The way that you locate this is by going up here and clicking on the applications for Microsoft 365. You will scroll down until you see Bookings below and click on the Bookings option. Once you're here, you will see the option to add a new calendar. I already had some created, so I'm going to go here to find a new Bookings calendar. You want to create one from scratch, and I recommend putting your name here into the calendar so people know who they are booking the appointment with. You have the option to add a logo. You can select education and select create calendar. I recommend skipping over this service until you are finished creating your calendar. I'm not going to click continue because I already have one created, but you can finish clicking through all those options and pause the video and then rejoin me. I am now going to go ahead and head over to my calendar that I've created, which is under Carrie Murillo. I want to scroll over here to make sure that I've turned on the Try New Bookings toggle to on. That way I have the most updated version of the application. So I'm going to go down now to Settings and click on Settings. And you should see your name here already. If you don't, you might have the option to add it. So you'll want to add yourself as an option for people to book you. I noticed that with me, I needed to go in and edit my personal information so people know how to reach me. You can change the color of your appointment booking. You have the option of adding in a phone number, maybe with an extension. You're going to want to select this box so that it notifies people via email when they've booked a time slot with you, or if there's been a change. You'll also want to make sure this is selected, that the events on the office calendar affect your availability. So if you have another appointment on your calendar, this will disallow it from people from double booking you. And then I am going to turn off the business hours, and I want to adjust this to my school hours. So maybe I want to be available till 4:30, or maybe you want to do, 4 o'clock. You can adjust this to your preferred time for your scheduling slots. And I suggest just adjusting this to your preference. I'm just going to say 4 o'clock for each of these. And after that, you're going to go ahead and save changes. Okay, once that saves, I'm going to go ahead and head down here to where it says services. Okay. My next step is to add a new service. So this is basically letting people know when you're available, and it's where you can really customize all the options. So since you are ILT and MTSS folks, what I recommend putting here is classroom support as one of your options for services. And a description might be, please select a 30-minute slot. You can always adjust that to however many minutes you need. You may want to put a location here, like if it's your classroom number where you're located, or you may want to leave that blank and let them just decide on a location, give you a couple options to choose from. Duration, I want to make this 30 minutes. It's important to schedule. For me, I would want a buffer time so that people can't just book me back to back to back. So maybe I'm going to give like a 10-minute before and after buffer just to give myself a chance to catch my breath in between appointments. We'll leave everything else as the defaults, and I'm going to click Save Changes. Okay, now it automatically reverts me back here to this menu, but I'm going to click the pencil and go back in because I'm not finished yet. I still need to go back and adjust the other options, which there are also availability options in here. So I wanted for this, I want to turn off the default scheduling options because it automatically defaults to all of these drop downs, but I want to leave my 30-minute increments of when they can book me. But maybe I want to adjust the lead time. I want them to, maybe I want to give them 12 hours instead of 24 hours to cancel or to book me in advance. Instead of 365 days, well, there's only 180 school days, so I want to change this to 180. And then I want staff to be able to book me during these time slots. So I'm going to do custom hours. And again, I want to change this maybe to 4 because these are the times that I wanted to select. Now, if you chose hours in the initial setup, then it should automatically default, but I found that it doesn't always. So it's helpful to customize your hours here and then say save. So now I have filled in my basic details. My availability options have been updated, and I've also added in some times for when they can schedule me. I'm going to skip over the custom fields and go right over here to reminders and notifications. So in this dropdown, I have the option of adjusting my email notifications. I do want to be notified when someone books me, so I'm going to leave this one checked. This is totally up to your preference, of course. If I want to know when I want the meeting invite to be sent out to the teacher in addition to the confirmation email, that way they can add it to their calendar. I'm going to select that so they get a calendar invite. The text messaging, I might want to leave that off just because I don't want to pester people with an unneeded text message. You also have the option of adding a website here or a resource if you wanted people to be able to link to a intervention site you created, or maybe you have another type of resource you want to share with them, like a Google Doc. It could be linked here. Okay. You can add a reminder here if you want to set a reminder for people. Maybe a week before you want to remind them that they've already set up a time to meet with you. So it could be something as simple as I look forward to meeting with you soon. And maybe I want to say something like, this is a reminder that you have a scheduled appointment with me coming up. I look forward to meeting with you soon. And maybe I want to send that a week, or maybe I want to do it a day in advance. However you want to adjust this. And then it will automatically remind that person. If I don't want this one, I can just delete it. That was a default one. And then I would say save changes. Okay, I want to head back in. I think I have got everything now. I've done my basic details. I've got my availability options complete. I've assigned, I need to assign myself. I knew I missed something. It is important that you check your name here under assigned staff so that people are able to book you. So make sure you check that. And then under custom fields, I will select, I do want them to have to enter their email when they book me so I know how to reach them. So I'm going to leave that one as required, and I'm going to save changes. The next step is to come over back down under settings, and now I'm ready to set up some custom fields. This is where I want to get very detailed and more specific about the service I'm offering. So maybe I want to ask a question such as, maybe I want to start with, how can I best support you? Okay, and I want to just keep that open-ended, so I'm going to save those changes. Maybe I want another field where it's a drop-down question of, how can I best support you? But this time I want to give them options. So maybe I want to say administer assessment. So maybe I'm coming in to administer assessment, or it's going to be a small group, push in, or I'm going to demo a lesson, whatever it might be that you're wanting, services you're wanting to offer for them. And then you would just save changes again. Maybe I want another question, such as a location that has to do with location. So, where would you like to meet? Okay, and I want to leave that open ended, then I can just leave that there. And what this does is it creates a bank of questions that can be used when I head back to services. So we're going to click back over to services, and I'll show you what that looks like. When I go into my services now and I click on custom fields, I see my questions here now that I've created. There's my questions, the same ones I just created. I want to I've decided to use the open-ended one. So I'm going to select it, make it required. And then where would you like to meet? I want to make that required. Maybe I want that question to be asked first. So I'm going to move it up to the top by clicking the arrow. So this question is first, where would you like to meet and how can I support you? Or vice versa. And then I'm going to save my changes. Okay. A time-saving tip when you're all done is if I wanted to create another option for support, what I can do is duplicate this service, and maybe instead of a 30-minute classroom support option, I want to do 20 minutes. So I'm going to change this to 20 minutes, adjust the duration for 20 minutes. I still want to have, 10 minutes between, or maybe I want to adjust that. It's up to me. I'm going to then go ahead and save my changes on that. And I can go back and adjust my availability options as well for this. I want to make sure I've assigned staff and that I've selected the questions. Maybe this time I want it to be an open end, or I want it to be more narrowed category options. I uncheck this one, and this time I want to use this question. I can. So I'm going to say save changes. I can go back in again, and you can adjust all of these before saving changes. You can go back in and you can set up your notifications if you want to make changes here. And then what this does is it really saves you time because you've already got a lot of your options set up and you're just maybe changing a few things here and there. This will save you a good chunk of time. Your last step after you've created all your services, and one more idea is maybe you want to create a virtual service, an online service. You could, again, duplicate it. Maybe you want to do exactly the same thing, but you want to add an online meeting option. Okay. So this just says I'm adding an online meeting. And then I'm going to maybe put a Zoom link here or Google Meet or whatnot that the person can meet with me on. And then I am going to save my changes when I'm done with that. And then what that does, it gives them the option of setting up online. Now, if you don't want to use Google Teams, then I would say toggle this to off, and you can just insert your Zoom or your Google Meet link here. Okay. Finally, your last step will be to go to the booking page, and you're going to want to copy this. You're going to first want to make your page available to people in our organization, so anyone in TUSD has access to it. And then once you click save, you'll see this link appear, and you can copy the link. And the nice thing about this is that it can be shown in your email.